So I have two friends. I'll call one of them Benjamin. I'll call another one of them Jayden. Now, Jayden and Benjamin are two opposites. Benjamin, he has ambitions similar to myself. I'm an entrepreneur. I want to make millions of dollars online. I want to retire my family. I want to have financial freedom online. Benjamin is like me. He has that drive, right? He wants all of that. He talks about it. He does certain stuff to try to achieve it. And he wants the life with that, right? He doesn't go to where he doesn't want to go to parties. He doesn't prioritize drinking every weekend. So that is Benjamin. Now, Jayden, and this is real, by the way. These are real friends I have. Jayden, he is the exact opposite of Benjamin. He doesn't care about online money. He doesn't care about, being financially independent. He doesn't care about being financially free. Every single weekend, he drinks, he goes to parties, he, sleeps around. He does everything that a young adult in the modern world does. Now, despite this, there's one single trait that between these two that Jayden has and Benjamin doesn't that makes me myself infinitely respect Jayden more than it would Benjamin. Now, what is this? Benjamin, and I guarantee as I say this, you guys, this might even reflect yourself, but this is going to reflect somebody, I 100% guarantee it will. Benjamin is not self-aware. Benjamin wants all of the stuff that he talks about, right? He wants the fast cars. He wants the girls. He wants to retire his family. He wants to escape the matrix. But the only thing he does to try to achieve that is talk about it to his friends, right? Is to watch YouTube videos, watch E-Man Godsey, take notes, but never actually do action. Now, when you ask Benjamin this, and you say like, hey dude, how's it going? Like, yeah, I've been learning. And then you tell Benjamin, you're like, okay, but you got to have some execution in there. You got to have some, you got to do the stuff that you're actually learning to have that success. And he's like, no, I'm making progress. And he truly believes it. Now, Jayden, on the other hand, Jayden is doing all of this stuff. He's being, let's just say, degenerate. And, maybe it's a negative way. I don't care. Like, I'm saying this not in a hostile way towards Jayden, because I respect him because of this. Jayden does all of this, but he knows that what he is doing is degenerate behavior. And this comes back to self-awareness. Jayden knows the behaviors that he is doing. He knows the true nature behind it. He knows that he's being a you-know-what. He knows that he's being a retard. Benjamin, on the other hand, he thinks that he is the almighty, right? He thinks that he is already at the level of 19-year-old millionaires online just because he's watching E-Man Godsey videos on YouTube and he's not executing, right? He's in his cocoon of knowledge, as I like to say. He's not executing. Now, for me, myself, and again, this is based on a real example. I respect Jayden more than I respect Benjamin because of that. And self-awareness, right? Having that level of self-awareness. As my mentor said, I talk about self-awareness a lot on this channel. Self-awareness is one of the most important things that you can have for yourself, for whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it's success. It doesn't matter if it's health, health, wealth, love, happiness, the 4 areas of a good life. If you can't look at yourself in the mirror and see yourself honestly, and you're living in your delusion of what you think is there, that because, you feel good about it compared to what you actually know is there, you are going to live a life where, you're always a slave to yourself, right? You're always going to be the slave to yourself because you don't understand the truth behind what it is you are doing. And this comes down to a little bit of a lack of knowledge, right? A little bit, but it also comes down to a little bit of ego. Us as humans, what was I reading? I think I was reading the book Subconscious. It's not in my book pile. It's an audio book. I reviewed it on my Instagram page. By the way, make sure you guys check that out. Give a ton of sauce. All these books I've read, by the way, I give reviews on them. If you ever feel like this could help you, right? I talk about these books. Make sure to check that out. But our brains, right? We have 2 sides of our brains. One is the scientist, one is the lawyer. The scientist is able to analytically look at things, right, logically, diagnose the problem, diagnose the root, and see things for what they truly are. And then the lawyer is something that takes something, tries to convince ourselves that it's right, right? So the scientist takes something, tries to convince ourselves why it's truthful from a non-biased way. And the lawyer takes something and says, how can I make this true? As humans, naturally, we've evolved to make ourselves feel better than to actually see the truth, right? And this is evolutionary because, that confidence being, if we're not confident in ourselves, a whole bad array of stuff happens. But how this relates back to Benjamin and Jayden, Benjamin does not have this self-awareness. He goes through his life, right? He consumes. When you ask him, hey, how's it going? Oh yeah, I'm still learning. He said that a year ago, right? He still thinks he's at the same level as he's taught people because he doesn't have the self-awareness. But now Jayden, on the other hand, he knows that he's a retard, right? And I respect people a million times more who actually have that self-awareness than the people who lack that and are living their own delusional sense of self. Me talking about this, I guarantee that you guys are going to know some people in your life with this, right? Some people in your life that reflect this. And unfortunately, you're going to get a lot of people, but from a certain sense, right, we're programmed to do that. The only way that we get out of this is through that self-awareness, right? Is through being able to say to ourselves, okay, what am I thinking? This is why I'm thinking it. Big way behind this, that I've been able to, I like to think I'm, objective in when I look at things, right? I don't, my brain doesn't get something and I try to make it true. I just see things for what they truly are. Evolutionary psychology, right? Learn why we think certain things, learn, certain circumstances, why we feel what we feel. It all makes sense. But that self-awareness is arguably the most important thing you can have to living the good life, right? As my mentor said, it is the most important. Intangible, he calls it, right? The intangibles, the things that, I don't know if courage he quotes as an intangible, but it's like courage, being able to just see things for what they truly are, right? It is so important. And with that, in life, I don't know if Benjamin or Jayden will be more successful. And that's, being successful isn't the only way to judge someone in life, like judge someone's success. And again, success. I always think from success and efficiency. That's the kind of person I am, right? High achieving entrepreneur. But, from that, who's going to live a happier life? It's not even a matter of happiness, I guess. I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that the respect that I have for these two people, it should be obvious that I should have more respect for the person who's doing all of this right stuff, right? Who's learning the right stuff, ambitions similar to mine, than the person who is like the exact opposite of me. But unfortunately, I respect Jayden more than Benjamin because Jayden actually knows, he understands what he's doing, right? He's not living in his own la-la land while the stuff around him just, flies past. So, lesson for you guys to take out of this. This is something that so many people face. And, and I was watching a podcast and it had Andrew Tate on it actually. And he was saying exactly what I'm saying right now, like being self-aware, right? Being aware of things, being aware of, how the world really works, the elites, all of that. And that's a huge topic. Obviously, I'm not versed in that, nor am I going to delve into this in this video. But he says, people who understand me, I think it's 1 in every 10,000. And for the 9,999, he hopes that he can turn some of those people over to the one person who does. But, just like in the Matrix, right, with Neo, Morpheus gives the quote, he's like, some people are just happier living here, right, in the Matrix. And that's very true, right? They say ignorance is bliss. And it is a very rare quality to have because, unless you're in the right circles, unless you're listening to the right stuff, you're never going to snap out of that. Now, I guess the reason I wanted to make this video because, you know, my friend Benjamin, I've told him this, right? I've told him exactly what I'm saying in this video right now. And he doesn't listen. He doesn't listen. Now, I hate saying that because at the end of the day, you know, it's probably better if he listens to the people I listen to than listen from me. Regardless, I do think that what I can say in his realm, I believe I have valor to it because I've been in his shoes, right? Every entrepreneur starts out like this, and he's an aspiring entrepreneur. But that's that. And that is why I don't have that respect that I do. Now, this was a little bit of just like a blabber video. I wanted this to be way more articulated, way better. I guess it didn't come out right. But again, at the end of the day, just trying to get something out there. But this was a big lesson I did want to share. It's like being self-aware is going to be so incredibly useful for you, not just in your success, but even in the way you respect yourself and others are going to respect you, right? As who was it who said this? I think it was Mark Cuban. I think it was Mark Cuban, but I've heard this quote many times across many different great people. He said it's like success isn't going to be an idea that comes in your head at night. It's going to be the person you run into, right? For me, arguably, my most success has come across meeting my business partner. And for you yourself, it's going to be the same. And I tell you right now, you know, for high achieving entrepreneurs like myself, and I truly do believe, you know, I am a higher achiever than a lot of entrepreneurs, even though the monetary status hasn't shown it yet. I'm telling you right now, if you're not self-aware, I'm not going to respect you. Now, you can take with that what you want. You can probably be laughing at me right now saying, oh yeah, I don't care about you, you know, as of right now, but I'm going to be something of significance. And that's not just arrogant confidence. It's not just, you know, egotistical nonsense. I know I'm doing the right things, right? I'm learning from the right people, working in, day out. Again, you guys can check out my Instagram, 210 days, AI agency documenting it. Never miss a day. But that's that, right? Lesson for you guys. Become so self-aware. Don't become like Benjamin. Even if you're like Jayden, you have the vehicle to become successful more than you do with Benjamin. That's from my experience. So that's that. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, subscribe to or follow my Instagram for more. Follow my free AI agency Discord if you guys are looking at starting that or just looking to network with other high achieving entrepreneurs. Do that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Above all, stay wise.